454-bed Worcester Hospital in the UK, scheduled for completion in the year 2002. A typical example of a modern state-of-the-art hospital, an attractive, functional building packed with the most advanced equipment and services, geared to provide every conceivable medical requirement for the people of Worcester Health Authority for decades to come. But that's where the comparison with other hospitals stops. The building and fitting out of the Worcester Hospital is breaking new ground and pioneering new methods which will transform the way construction projects are planned and executed in the future.
Lean construction attacks the 60% inefficiency which there is in installing M&E services in a building like Worcester Hospital going the traditional route. This is a huge cost saving. It presents time and cost certainty on the project, and it gives more and better value to our customers.
The Worcester Hospital project stands out as an example where people have really thought through what it would take to apply lean principles to operating on a building site. Most building sites are a complete shambles, and everybody's on top of each other, and the work doesn't get done on time because everybody's juggling other jobs. In this case, they have a very clear plan, they have a very clear and disciplined process. Nothing's lying around, everything arrives just in time, and the job gets done on time. It's no secret, but it's a really nice thing to see it being done properly.
In October 1999, ABB Building Technologies Limited in the UK won the contract for providing mechanical, electrical, telecommunications and IT and public health services for the new Worcester Hospital. A Bovis Lend-Lease fast-track project, it was scheduled to be completed in just 2 years, as opposed to the norm of 3. Work commenced on site in January 2000. The £19.5 million fixed-price lump-sum contract called for a radical new approach if the strict time and cost demands of the project were to be met. Just 15 months to install all services to 3 floors, including 9 major operating theatres, of which 4 are ultra-clean, a large accident and emergency department, specialist radiotherapy unit, 2 ward blocks, 3 plant rooms, an energy centre and all risers. This meant reducing the normal time taken for such a project by at least 1/3. A formidable challenge, but one that we believe ABB had the skills, experience and determination to meet. For some years now, ABB has been operating a constructive partnering programme, creating a practical route to profitability and growth through providing high standards of service, cooperation and, most important of all, client satisfaction. We have adopted new attitudes, developed new skills and taken on new responsibilities to create this advanced approach to every project. But the Worcester Hospital project demanded something extra, a further advancement of our thinking to create a whole new methodology. So we took everything back to basics and started with a clean sheet. We completely rethought the whole process of working such a project. We took every single facet of every function of every stage of a project and totally rethought it, leaving no activity or operation free from critical appraisal. Our conclusion? That we needed to re-engineer not just the design, but the whole installation process as well, if we were to meet the strict time and cost criteria. Manufacturing industry provided us with the answer: lean manufacture. A system whereby every operation in the production of a product is analysed, rationalised and pared right down to save both cost and time while maintaining the very highest quality. The system also depends very much for its success on a just-in-time approach to the supply of all materials and components.
There's 4 key elements. First of all was the amount of lessons learned research in the public domain in the UK, produced by Budria, on M&E site productivity. There's lots of new thinking in manufacturing, just-in-time principles, continuous improvement, etc. Our own experience, that's the experience of the people in the work group, and if you count up those years of experience, there's quite a lot. And there's the whole range of products on the market that we can apply to the job. We had to look at how we can engineer the design so we didn't have any problems on site. Buildability, and under that it's the type of components we use, and it's not just the ones we select, we have to get those approved. It's a hospital, and there's quite a lot of specifications covering hospital work, so we have to make sure those approve. Tooling and access, types of tools and access equipment we use, the actual team working with our site engineers and site labour, and just-in-time techniques, the new techniques that are available to us from other industries.
But of course, none of this could be implemented without the complete agreement and cooperation of the main contractor, Bovis Lend-Lease.
One of the key factors that ABB have actually brought here is due to the fact that we've sequenced the project in a zone fashion, for which they've bought into that process in the first instance. So one zone basically chases another zone. That's a key factor they've picked up on and are now utilising. In addition to that, they've now brought together some experience they've had on other projects where they're bringing materials here on a just-in-time basis. And that is creating a scenario where we're not needing vast quantities of storage on site. And it's also meaning that the men have their materials at the workplace where they need them at the time that they actually do need them. And we're actually deriving the benefits for that.
Partnering workshops were held with the main contractor and the design team to agree ways of working together to ensure sound overall management of the project. Suppliers would also need to adopt a different approach. The ABB Group is one of Europe's major industrial forces, offering world-leading products, services and technologies for a wide range of industries throughout the world. It was natural then that many of the products and services required on the Worcester Hospital project should come from ABB Group companies. All suppliers, group member or otherwise, were fully appraised of the working principles for the project, and each was fully committed to fulfilling its requirements. ABB's just-in-time methodology for the supply of materials and components for every phase of the project is a totally new concept for the construction industry. As early as 4 months before work commenced on site, workshops were held with all key suppliers, and every process from procurement to installation had lean principles applied. The project was divided into 41 zones. Although all suppliers had submitted tenders for the whole project, orders would be placed and delivered against quotations for individual zones. 2 weeks ductwork in a zone would be followed by 2 weeks pipework, 2 weeks containment, and so on. With the next trade team following on immediately behind, no team could be late finishing. Every function, every piece of equipment and every tool on site was geared to maximising efficiency and productivity. Mobile information boards within each zone kept all personnel informed, with working drawings, details of health and safety matters and general information on the operation of the project. Suppliers deliver all materials and components for each phase of work directly to the relevant zones in purpose-designed stillages and replenish stocks of consumables on a regular basis. Large, easy-access scaffolding with poop decks was designed with Kanban bins to hold materials and components. Quick-charging, battery-powered hand tools were used to eliminate long runs of cabling. This meticulous planning, provision of specialist equipment and tight working practices has meant a reduction by 1/3 of the number of staff working on site compared with a conventionally run site. But lean construction doesn't mean reducing standards of quality. Far from it. The Worcester project, like all other ABB projects, is operated under our business management and quality assurance procedures to produce products and services that meet our customers' requirements and expectations.
We started off very well in developing a methodology to build the project, and we build on that every week. We have weekly lessons learned, which was one of the outcomes of the workshops, that we should do this. And we look in the past week or in the last week what's gone well and what's not gone well, and we build on that for the next week. So we try and improve all the time. We've moved into continuous improvement sort of development, which is a new era, we think, for the construction industry, and certainly for us, and we're learning all the time on that. But how we can measure ourselves on a week-by-week basis, not just financial performance, but key performance indicators, as we call them, and try and build on those week for week.
The success of adopting lean construction principles is clear, with larger than expected savings in both time and cost being experienced in most areas. The time savings also benefit the client, with both commissioning and maintenance managers able to commence work early, and maintenance manuals published well before the completion of the project. The initial timescale for the project was already tight, requiring completion in 2/3 the time normally taken for such a project. By applying lean construction techniques, ABB expects to reduce that timescale further.
If they can document from beginning to end the improvements that they've made on this process and the thinking that has gone into making this a successful project, if they can show that to future clients, if they can then set themselves targets to do it even faster and with even less snags on the next job and on the next job and on the next job, frankly, in 4 or 5 jobs' time, nobody else will be able to touch them.
ABB Lean Construction, the fastest, most effective way of operating a mechanical and electrical services project.